Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. Jack Posobiec of Naval Intelligence and one of the biggest Trump groups in the country, great investigative journalist, is going to be taking over. But right now, I wanted to finish up with some of the biggest news of the day. Vladimir Putin is known for having these 3, 4, 5, 6 hour pressers where they let the entire international press in, including people like Megyn Kelly, people that are adversarial, to ask him questions, and he gives long-form, complex answers. And his latest breakdown yesterday was particularly informative. Putin, Hillary behind Russian collusion, hysteria, and elites disrespect voters. That's a Kit Daniels article. Here's another one. Putin vows to respond immediately and systematically if U.S. leaves Cold War nuke treaty. So let's go ahead and play some of these clips so we can get the perspective from Russia. That doesn't mean we're on the Russian payroll. It means we're getting Russia's perspective, which the globalists don't want us to have. But it's more important than that. Putin met secretly with Bill Clinton and Hillary. He did the Uranium One deal that got him a third of the U.S. uranium, a good move for Russia. Very treasonous, though, by the Clintons. So Putin knows a lot. And there's been quite a bit of talk about information coming out soon about the Clintons and who was really working with the Russians and anybody else that would pay him. That's why they were so desperate to go after Trump and his supporters, saying we were Russian agents with no proof, because that's how you change the subject if you're John Podesta and his brother getting money from the Russians' Uranium One. So who's eating the old you-know-what now, Mr. Podesta? Let's go ahead here and get to this clip. Putin, Hillary behind Russia collusion hysteria, and elites disrespect Trump voters. Oh, yeah, they hate Trump because they hate you, flyover country.
Well, first of all, as for the critical things that I mentioned, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that in the United States, of course you know this, there is an unprecedented anti-Russian campaign being waged in the United States from the outgoing administration of Mr. Obama, and now it's not over still. Why are you surprised with my critical attitude towards previous and today's administration? I just don't understand this, because the U.S. has this unprecedented Russian campaign, which has not been provoked by anything. Someone has lost the elections to Mr. Trump, and Russia was blamed for this. And then they unfold this anti-Russian hysteria. Any issue, any failure is linked with Russia. Is it true? Yes, this is how it is. On any issue, you can find Russian meddling, and they find this meddling.
Now let's go to the next clip where he goes more into this. Russian president believes Trump supporters deserve more respect. Well, no. They're all deplorables. They're all racist. They're all KKK. Think about how weaponized that lie is. In fact, even Bloomberg had to admit, if he did a breakdown of who put Trump over the top, it was the very same voting bloc that voted for Obama. We just want change. We want prosperity. We want unity. And that's what Trump's really been calling for. But first, we've got to admit we've got a country, if that's going to be the case. Because the globalists want to say, oh, no, surrender. Get rid of the idea of sovereignty or you even having jobs. Give in to our political correctness, and then we'll let you have a future. So here it is. Russia president believes Trump supporters deserve more respect.
Among all the major powers, Russia, United States, China, India, Japan, or Germany, or Great Britain, almost every major power has a competent and capable leaders like yourself, except the #1 power, United States. We happen to have a president, unfortunately, that needs to be managed, although it remains to be seen if he's manageable or not. And you have been very successful.
Hit pause for a minute. So you've got this journalist from some state-run outfit, I guess in China, coming up saying we need Trump to be managed. Oh, you're a great leader, Putin, but Trump needs to be managed. And then this is how Putin responds, saying you need to respect the voters of the United States. Wow. No wonder our media doesn't play clips of what Putin actually says. Here it is.
As a senior president, if you're asked to give advice to Mr. Donald Trump how to be a good president that make a positive contribution to this transition.
Tell Trump how to be good.
What are you going to say to him? Thank you.
How condescending.
Well, I think that your question is incorrect and maybe even impolite, because Mr. Trump was elected by American people. And this is why we have to pay respect towards him, even if we are not agree with some of his positions or views. Inside the country, he's not being respected. This is sad. This is a negative component of the American political system. We can argue, but we have to pay respect, even not towards him personally, but towards the people who voted for him. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I've already mentioned this, and I think that the US president doesn't need any advice at all, because in order to be elected, even without, for example, an administrative experience, one should possess a talent and to go through all these ordeals, and he has done this, and he has won. He has done this honestly.
Then he goes on in the final clip I'm going to play, and then Posebek's coming up. Trump is unpredictable because inside the U.S., he's unable to implement any of his plans. That's partially true, but just cutting regulations and just calling for tax cuts has brought many of the markets and jobs back. Failure on tax cuts really could tank the markets, New York Post reports. Trump tax cuts gains momentum as Rand Paul goes all in. Top Republicans are trying to block that, basically, and only have modest cuts. They know what they're doing. They want a consolidated control. But again, remember, everything you heard about Trump is now been put back on the other foot with the Democrats, and there's a media blockade on this, a controlled corporate media, but they can't hold it very long, because we're the real media, you're the real media, you have a voice, you have an email, you have a telephone, you have a Facebook, you have a Twitter, you can visit InfoWars, you can call C-SPAN, you can't be stopped, and you're not being stopped. So you're winning. To the point they have to admit they openly want to censor us now. Putin, Trump is unpredictable. Here it is.
In last October, you were speaking about the prospects of presidential candidate Donald Trump. You said that you'll be ready to work with any American president, and you don't know what kind of president Mr. Trump will be. And now we have the impression that Trump is so unpredictable, and it seems that with Hillary Clinton you could have had more clear interaction. What's your opinion on this? Well, do you know how we say, if you think something, you have to put a cross on yourself. Well, this just seems. You better think twice. We don't know what would be the reality, you know? As for the President of the United States, Donald Trump, I can repeat what I've mentioned 1 year ago. I said that we will be working, and now I said that we are working with the President elect by the people of the United States. He's unpredictable because there is a great, because inside of the country, he is not able to implement any of his plans. For example, in healthcare, there's a great resistance towards his activity. For example, he adopts a decision about migrants, and then the court blocks his decision, and it happens all the time. So we cannot say that he's unpredictable only because of himself. It will be incorrect. It happens because of the American political system. We'll be working
that's
with
good.
the
There's more clips up on newswars.com and prisonplanet.com. A lot of other breaking news and analysis coming up with Jack Posebek on the other side of this break. But understand the key to this. They have been able to manipulate Trump into being hardline on Russia for no reason, when we should be aligned and allied with Russia on so many issues. As a Christian nation reforming itself, we need to be reformed as well. But by hyping all the fake Russia stuff, he's been bullied into going along with all this. Once we expose and annihilate the Clintons and the globalists for their crimes with the Chinese, the Russians, everybody else, then we can move forward with the next big human century of exploration and expansion. And, you know, the real pragmatist, pro-human views of Trump and the resistance that we, the people, represent, not just here, but globally. We'll be back on the other side. Jack Posebek straight ahead. Please spread the live video links where you're watching us right now to everyone you know, because you are the resistance.